All right, click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar. I got a mailbox. You want to mail me some fascinating comics, preferably not anything by Star Wars. So Disney is winding down, i.e., canceling the High Republic comic books and the young adult stuff because they suck. We're gonna make stuff for people that they don't want. Oh, how is that working out for you? What a model business plan. Well, it's not selling actually. So you're gonna stop or at least change directions, maybe try some different protagonists. No, we're just gonna repeat it. Oh, does that like make up in volume or something? So I've been following these High Republic comics because they have been insanely cringe bad, and they're at the point where they're so bad it's good, and especially where you don't have to exchange any monetary for them. You can get them online. And so out of a dozen comics, it was all vagina power protagonists, and the male characters' only purpose was to be spoken down to, and just these stupidly cartoonishly bad guys. Let me get to some of these covers because that's gonna be a huge sell. Oh, okay, I got an idea for a character. Okay, shoot. Wait, gonna be a chick, of course. Goes without saying. Gonna be black. Again, goes without saying. We're gonna shave the sides of her head. Oh, that seems like. I mean, kind of. Don't you notice that comics they're doing that quite a bit? It's like kind of the I don't know. It's like their version of when they think Blade Runner punk rock. The only thing they can think of is like a mohawk or the shaved side of a girl's head. Or maybe they dye the hair a different color. It's like, it's been done. It's tried, hackneyed, and overused. If it's been done to death, you just can't keep doing it. You have to stop. Just give her a normal haircut. Now we're going to go ahead with shaving the sides of the head. But people, okay. I mean, it's this stuff is, the money for Lost Comics doesn't matter because it's owned by Disney. So, if this is just out there to set up a future story for the movie universe, or to try to get out in the market, get their name out there. I mean, the thing is, like, if really nobody buys it, if you're selling like 10,000 comics, I mean, the whole thing is friggin' pointless. Other than the first issues that people buy for collectibles and stuff. I remember Star Wars comics from the 80s, man. What do you have on the cover? You had Luke on some covers, then Han, then Lando, and the Wookiee and Leia. Those were in Darth Vader, of course. That was pretty much most of the covers because that was what little boys wanted to see, and that was who was buying your comics. Oh, I don't know, almost 100%, unless people were buying them for their kids. But it was the market was 99% male. And the comic market now is probably 99% male, if not very close to it. Oh yeah, so we're gonna put chicks who look like they enjoy other chicks on the cover of these comics. Oh, who are you gonna sell it to? As it turns out, nobody. No, because nobody wants to read a story with chicks leading the way into battle. Not even chicks. That's just okay. This is the one that is drawn well, so I give him credit for one comic where it's cute. Unfortunately, she's a lesbian in a interracial, interspecies relationship with a female alien. Not even chicks want to read this kind of crap. That's just feminist, I don't know, propaganda that nobody believes. They say this stuff in colleges and on Cosmo and stuff, but it's not true. It doesn't translate into sales. Women see themselves, yes, let me tell you all about women, as the mysteriously beautiful, possibly underweight, waifish, very skinny, sexy princesses. That's how they want to see themselves. That they're there to be rescued, and they have long flowing hair of some sort. That they're there to be rescued, and possibly like a white dress, and always very, very skinny in their fantasy vision of that. They're there to be rescued. Yes, they are the sex objects, the objects of desire to get saved by the hero and live happily ever after with a bunch of kids. Welcome to the past million years of storytelling. Everything these soy boy Disney writers push doesn't find an audience because globalists don't accept women for what they are. They are not men. Which, you can jokingly say it's hate speech now. They go, you guys have one joke. Yeah, but it still works because you haven't resolved it. When we ask you to define, like, man or woman, you use a circular definition. Isn't that just 1984? Shouldn't that raise the hairs on the back of your neck? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's not a good sign. So they want to change women to force them to give a shit about Star Wars comics, or even they do the same stuff with women's action films. Yeah, well, that might connect with some of an audience because you got the kind of Japanese theme going on there. Or on average, they don't. Women don't are not into action adventures or action movies at all because of biology. And yes, I am a woman expert because I have given the nature of women about 10 minutes of thought, which is more than what soy boys and cat ladies have. I know more about women than feminists because they're lying to themselves. Look at the books and the movies that sell in big numbers to women. Analyze those trends. What do you got? Romance, the stuff it focuses on. Romance, the family, friendships, tribalism, that's going to be the main themes, repeated over and over again. And you could say, is it formulaic? Yeah, I mean, welcome to humanity. And like men aren't off the hook. Like you can't say one is better than the other. What was one of my favorite movies as a kid was Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger somewhere in the 80s. Because I mean, and I look back at the movie now, and I think, wow, that was all kinds of stupid. Still kind of a fun movie. Yeah, still kind of a fun movie. Or Predator. It's like they're running around the jungle, blowing up trees. That was the whole movie, and it's like, well, women like, I don't know, Thelma and Louise and Fried Green Tomatoes and Titanic and friendships and romance and family and that kind of stuff. It's very rare that it breaks out of that mold. So like romance books. Romance books are huge, huge sellers. Read a dozen romance books, and you're not going to know women if you read a dozen, but you're going to know in what direction there's a market. I'll say that is a very solid market. Those kind of romance books with the girls on the cover and the guy with his shirt off, and the guy always has a six pack, and the girl is like a tiny little waist and huge boobs. That's what chicks are into, and they're not shy about telling you. So that's just the real world. Disney are globalist parasites who need to destroy all that so that they can lower birth rates of people who look like you because they're lizard people. So the main theme of the comics is girl power and very much a lack of fair-skinned men at all, or at least in positive roles. It's all vagina all the time, but they're in these action adventure roles. That's the one male protagonist. He's probably gay, which women hate. Women just hate that stuff. And boys and men are not interested in women in these roles because that is not what women are for. That is not what women are. Women are wives and mothers. That's the role of a woman. You might be able to make her a reluctant hero, like a mother has to go off on an adventure because something happened. That can work, but it has to be tied into her motivation for the family. Disney is trying. You're so sexist. No, I'm just a realist. Disney's trying to force people. Oh, and so you're in an interracial, interspecies relationship. That's probably the tie into that comic. Disney's trying to force people into roles they're not interested in, and they will burn cash to do it. I mean, the money spent on comics. Let me get to another cover. Oh yeah, that's freaking great. The money spent on comics. I think this was the comic where there's a they them. There's two twins. They're two alien twins, and they give you a little lecture on something to do with the BLT and the they them pronouns. You're like, that doesn't make sense. You're either male or female. It's not up to you to decide. This is just Orwellian Disney nightmares. No, we're they them. But you're male? Yeah, that's right, but we don't feel male. But that's ridiculous. I mean, that's childish level of thinking. So Disney can burn cash on comics because I don't know, like the money lost in comics is probably the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, which for Disney, a $150 billion company, just doesn't matter at all. But I guess in terms of comics and young adult novels, they've reached their limit where the low sales are probably hurting the brand because they're getting embarrassing. They're trying to make Star Wars either a girls' brand or to try to get young boys on board with reading girls as the protagonists in action adventure stories, which is obviously never going to happen. And I guess they're maybe trying to use it to help push the next Mary Ray Sue movie that Kathleen Kennedy and Daisy Ridley are coming out. I guess it's coming out soon, which I'm sure is going to be absolutely horrible. But here's the thing: it's got to be better than the Disney trilogy that they did from 2015 to 2019, right? I mean, I think they would have learned something from those movies. Um, I think. So anyway, I think they're maybe trying to cash in on the Barbie billions, but Star Wars is an entirely different type of movie. It's an action adventure story. It's rare that you can have a Terminator or an Alien type of movie where the female can pull it off with Sigourney Weaver and Linda Hamilton. Those are like two movies out of hundreds of other movies with male leads, where Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren and Schwarzenegger and all that stuff from the 80s. It's like those are two rare movies that did very very well, but that I mean they are very very rare. Because 99% of the time, people are just not interested in seeing that. So all out of all the comics I read, the one with that best art was the one I showed you with the most obvious anti-blonde storyline. Those two lead girls were lesbian POC girls, and they had to team up with a diverse Bolshevik found family and fight the evil blonde-haired, green-eyed Hugo Boss Aryan stand-in, who, if I remember right, is pining away from the for the black girl or maybe the alien girl, but they're involved in a lesbian relationship, of course. And he also got the size of his head shaved, but he is blonde with green eyes, and he's pure Hugo, just pure hated evil. Because Disney wants you to direct all your evil, all your hatred at blonde and red-haired people for some wacky reason. Don't say anything in the comments. So I have a question. The protagonists are Pox, but the antagonist is a person of the light. So why not just reverse that? Well, I mean, what would happen if it was reversed? If it was instead of blonde for black, it was black for blonde. What would happen? I only ask because it seems that I'm sensing a theme here that they're never going to make a POC the antagonist. Why do they feel it's acceptable to degrade and dehumanize one group of people who look like this character? Shouldn't the races of antagonists and protagonists be evenly distributed? But it's not. Out of a dozen comics, all are female, but one is male, and all are black of those covers, except I think one or two. It just seems like there's a theme that you're kind of trying to dehumanize one group of people, like, systematically. What do you call that? Is there a name for that? So I guess this is a kid's comic. It's certainly drawn for a kid's audience, and you have the interspecies. They have the same hairstyle and the same nose style, so it's obvious the alien character is supposed to be coded as a POC. You kind of get that vibe from the comic. So you have them in an interracial, interspecies lesbian relationship because, oh, there you have it. Because it's Disney Star Wars. It's a family-friendly brand. There are BLT communities. Yeah, but I mean, at some point, you're going to have to admit, like, you know what? It seems like Disney's values are not our values. Straw men and ad hominems aside, you can go, yeah, just isn't for most people. They value regular relationships, tribal family structures. So these people ride off into the sunset and don't have kids, and just like there's no future to the story. She bypassed that. Well, the blonde guy would have been interracial anyway, but I mean, it's not even human. Like, there's no future to the story. That's why the audience doesn't connect with it. They want to see two people who are of the same tribe go off into the sunset and have kids together and carry on the story in the next generation, because that's a base nationalist tribal concept that Disney is just not on board with. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys all next episode.